What we're witnessing with Dr. Cheyenne Bryant is a classic example of what happens when you build your personal brand on borrowed institutional authority. Let's talk about it. And before we call into question anyone else's credentials, here are mine. I have a Master of Arts degree in Strategic Communications and Public Relations, and I'm an award-winning crisis communications and public relations strategist. And just for a cherry on top, President Biden actually spoke at our graduation. For those of you who may need a little more proof, well, here you go. Pause to read. And for those who may not be up to speed, Dr. Cheyenne Bryant is currently facing a credibility crisis after questions surfaced about her doctoral credentials, licensure status, and whether her public branding has been blurring the line between life coaching and providing mental health services. She's recently been featured on various podcasts and news shows where she's been defending the fact that although she doesn't have access to the transcripts or her dissertation isn't found online, she stands firm in the fact that she does have the right to call herself a doctor, that she is degreed, has multiple degrees. But the bigger issue is what happens when you build your brand on information that cannot be verified or you're deemed as not being credible. When someone builds their personal brand on titles like doctor, therapist, psychologist, mental health expert, or even relationship guru, your brand becomes only as strong as the public's belief that those credentials are legitimate and properly represented. Once your audience begins to question whether the title is inflated or unclear, every piece of content that you've ever posted comes under scrutiny. And the conversation switches from where is her degree, transcript, or dissertation, and how can we verify this information? And the question then becomes, who gave you the authority to speak into people's trauma, relationships, marriages, mental health, and healing? That is why a situation like this carries significant emotional weight. It taps into the public's fear of being misled by online influencers or self-proclaimed experts. If I were to give Dr. Cheyenne Bryant any advice, it would be to stop arguing online. The first step that she needs to take is to release a clean credential statement, not a rant, not another defensive interview, a written statement that includes where she earned the degree, the year it was conferred, whether or not she's qualified, her licensure status, and most importantly, how her clients are informed of the difference between her being a life coach or psychology expert versus a licensed mental health professional. The second thing that I would advise her is that she needs to provide third-party verification. We all know that there are national clearinghouses out there that maintain the records of even closed institutions where students and alumni can go and retrieve those documents. If she indeed has a doctorate, she should be able to provide the documentation through a neutral third party, such as a verification service, national clearinghouse. There has to be some information out there and available to her. I'm not buying the fact that she's not able to access her transcripts when there are other students who attended the same university as her that have gone online and proven that you can still get a hold of those documents. And while I don't think that she needs to go and post every single private academic record to prove her point, if she wants to improve her credibility and repair her reputation, she does need to set the record straight and provide documentation to show that she is indeed credentialed and has the authority to refer to herself as a doctor and practice in the way that she currently is. And most importantly, she needs to apologize to her audience. It would behoove her to go out and state that she understands that people may have questions. She has a respect for those who are in her field, that she understands that trust and credentials matter when you're talking about managing people's mental health, and that she should have been clearer about the fact of what her educational status was and give a distinction between the coaching services that she provides and therapeutic services, and acknowledge the fact that this is a very serious matter instead of taking the position that people don't have any right to ask why she's been positioning herself as a mental health professional without license or credentials to back it up.